Hello everyone and welcome to the TrackW KCG TTM season 25-3. This is round 5 today, where as you can see at Mount Panorama in Australia, it's sunny. Well, it's morning I think right now in the qualifying session, and it is looking like a nice race. This is going to be an incredible race. I mean, look, just the Super Tourers running around Bathurst Mount Panorama. That is something that you can't wait to see. And, well, honestly, I cannot wait either. So let's get going right now. Let's take a look at the standings first. We have Sven Markenberg comfortably ahead of Riccardo Rebello after a rather bad time last time around for Rebello. And then with Marvin Muckenberg in third position, still within striking distance of Colin Kreminski. Yuji Kurtokul, Joe Senna, Colin Barker and Sebastiano Rossi are then a bit further behind, sort of towards the upper middle of the grid in terms of the points anyways. So, but yeah, without further ado, because we're already in the middle of a qualifying session, there was a bit of a delay. Let's take a look. We have Marvin Muckenberg actually in pole right now with the Honda in front of Sven Muckenberg. There is still 3.5 minutes left in the qualifying session, so a bit of time left. We are currently looking at... This is Dave Ziska in one of the BMWs that are going to race today. The other ones, of course, being Jiří Kratochvíl and Andreas Ebert. But yeah, Dave Ziska here trying to improve on their time. Quite a bit of time lost in the second sector. Still a personal best so far. But will it be enough in the third sector, catching up to the might of the Muckenbergs to improve on the lap time? Well, it's not gonna challenge them, to be quite honest, but it might still become an improvement. Let's take a look here. Dave Ziska, one more corner left to go. That's looking tight. Oh, a bit squirrely on the exit. It's not an improvement after all in the end, because the final lap did not yield any result. We have here Jiří Kratochvíl as well, who has found some pace in recent rounds, especially being able to defend very well in understop. Not improving here, but very close to it. Looking very consistent here in the midfield. Now we have Riccardo Rebello, who seemingly has switched to the Renault. I believe that is a new switch, and whoa, look at that! The times are looking very good for Riccardo Rebello. Not close enough to be in P2 for now, but that is still the might of the Muckenbergs. Sven Muckenberg is still on the flying lap, which will be there will be enough time left to finish the lap here. We'll have to see. The first sector just half a tenth slower than what Marvin was able to do in the Honda. This Volvo 850, the brick as you can see it, it's not exactly the brick that has been racing in the BTCC. That was the estate version, 2 tenths down in the middle sector. Ooh, this does not look like the most promising of starts so far for Sven Muckenberg. Oh, but it seems that Marvin Muckenberg just posted a new best lap here, which means that now suddenly Sven Muckenberg's first sector was better, middle sector as well. It seems that the third sector for Marvin Muckenberg was where he really improved, but we'll have to see whether Sven Muckenberg can do the same, whether Sven Muckenberg can improve as well. There's just one more corner left to go, the 850. Around the last corner, let's take a look. Will this be enough? And it wasn't in the end. It wasn't enough. That means Marvin Muckenberg is on pole in front of Sven Muckenberg, Riccardo Rebello, Sebastiano Rossi, Kodin Kreminski, Joe Senna, Jiří Kratoschwil, Sam Morris, Timo Reiter, Merin Satsara, Dave Zitzka, Dirk Moltz, Andreas Ebert, G-Fox Foxington, and iMentrix Sainz. This is how it's looking so far for the races. The Muckenbergs once again on top of the standings, dominating the field pretty much so far, as it seems, having done that in previous rounds as well. Marvin Muckenberg has struggled a bit on Anderstorp, which was 2 rounds ago, where the pace just wasn't there, which means that there was not enough points gained to challenge his brother, basically, for the championship at this point. It's still, the standings still say that Sven Muckenberg is 170 points ahead of the 134 for Riccardo Rebello, and close behind there we've got Marvin Muckenberg as well. So there are 50 points up for grabs today. 2 races, of course. 2 sprint races. So we'll have to see how many points, if any, Riccardo Rebello or Marvin Muckenberg can gain on Sven Muckenberg. I'm a bit confused right now. This is the Sven Muckenberg. This is the right insert. That was Marvin Muckenberg we were watching there. Sven Muckenberg, here we go. The Volvo 850 driver. We have a 2-minute warm-up session right now, just to let the people try around a bit. One of the advantages is we will have a standing start, which means that the drivers will have to basically get it off the line as quick as possible, or from the standstill. There's a challenge of reaction time. It's a challenge of who has the best paddle control on the start. From what I have heard and seen, the best way to go around the standing start with these cars is by dropping the clutch while being in first gear. So we're gonna have to see who can do that the best and the quickest. The starting grid is on a very short straight, so there's not much of a run up to the first corner, which we just see behind Sven Muckenberg here as we're going up the mountain straight. But now we're in the race session. Now it's going to be interesting. Now the interesting thing happening. Mount Panorama, Bathurst, beautiful, written into the mountainside. A track built on public roads. Yes, when there's not a racing event going on, you can just normally drive on these roads. They are connecting a few of the farmsteads that are around the Bathurst area here at Mount Panorama. As you can see, farmstead there on the right, just off. And waiting for the formation. Everyone is now on the grid, it seems. Sven Muckenberg right next to Marvin Muckenberg, who has the lead. Beautiful start by Sven Muckenberg in the lead now, ahead of Riccardo Rebello and Marvin Muckenberg. Wonderful start, and oh my god, look at the distance he's already got. We're coming down the mountain now, seeing Sebastiano Rossi. Look at that. He is in P3 right now, having made up a position from the start. Right behind Ricardo Rubello, and it seems that Marvin Muckenberg is just losing it. And oh, that was G-Fox Foxington turned around there towards the rear of the grid, ahead of Dean Clark, and Jay Senna also was caught up in an incident, it seems. Oh boy, a bit of bad luck here in the beginning of the race for quite a few of the drivers. Marvin Muckenberg as well, losing 3 positions now only in P4. Looking to gain the position right now, and Sebastiano Rossi, though, they are side by side coming down the straight. And look at that, the inside line is for Sebastiano Rossi. Oh, but they're staying side by side. The next inside is for Muckenberg. Oh, but right behind, what is going on there? We have Jiří Kratochvil gaining a position there on, I think that was Kreminski, and now right side by side with Sam Morris. Oh, but the undercut with Jiří Kratochvil. Now he's got the inside for the next corner. That is a beautiful move here by Jiří Kratochvil to go for the overtake ahead of Sam Morris, and that invites Kordian Kreminski as well to overtake here. Kordian Kreminski, of course, in the Alfa has shown some pace, not race-winning pace so far, but always steady towards the top of the grid. Marvin Muckenberg now side by side with Kordian Kreminski. No way, Muckenberg right behind Sam Morris it is. And Jiří Kratochvil got a stop-and-go penalty for overtaking under a yellow flag. Oh boy, that is something that is not well seen, and Jiří Kratochvil just resets to pits after seeing that. That is a race killer in a 20-minute sprint race. Marvin Muckenberg, in the meantime, following still Sebastiano Rossi, trying to get back that P3. So far, it does not seem like it is a possibility. Sam Morris as well, right behind Kordian Kreminski, trying to get P5 here. Sam Morris, steady increase in pace in the last rounds. Now battling towards the top of the grid. The iRacing racer usually. What do we see here? Is that Joe Senna? What happened to Joe Senna? He's almost stationary here on the start-finish. As we go back to a battle between Timo Reiter and Dave Zitzka, and now on the straight, or this might be where the BMW is getting caught. The Audi is right in the slipstream here. He's trying to go for the outside now. Well, outside for the next bend, as we also see Marian Satsara and Imentric Saints, I dare say. Andreas Ebert actually right next to one another. Ebert able to defend here in the Paulana liveried BMW, but the exit is with Marian Satsara. And what do we see with Joe Senna? Still stationary here on the start-finish line. There has to be some evasive action taken now by several different drivers. What is going on here? You would hope that Joe Senna would be able to reset to pits ASAP at this stage in the game. Quite a lot of drivers having to take evasive action here. Back up we go to Marvin Muckenberg and Sebastiano Rossi. Marvin Muckenberg losing pace a little bit on the Italian driver. Not able to really get any potential pace going. Sam Morris, though, good exit here. Trying to go side by side with Kordian Kreminski. But in the mountain section, that is gonna be a real tough ask, if not impossible or outright dangerous. You would, best case scenario, try and overtake on some of the long straights, as we see what was going on here with Marvin Muckenberg right up ahead, who went off track. Oh, now he lost quite a lot more time to Sebastiano Rossi in P3. Sam Morris as well, we got notification, was in a collision, so hitting the wall, it seems, a bit at the moment. Marian Satsara as well right ahead though. Well, right behind a bit further. The mountain section is a dangerous section, and that collision though meant that Sam Morris is now not close enough to Gordon Kreminski anymore to be able to go for a move at this stage in the game. Ricardo Rebello in a safe P2 right now, within a second of the lead, trying to catch up to that, and we seemingly have a slowdown penalty to Gordon Kreminski for going across track limits, which means that there will be that he had to slow down a bit, allowing Sam Morris to potentially catch up. New fastest track posted by Sebastiano Rossi, while Joe Senna is still stationary. Let's take a look here now. We're on board here with Timo Reiter, who is following Dave Sitzker close behind in the mountain section. There's going to be a question whether the Audi driver can catch up going down the mountain. Oh, that was a bit of contact with the wall there by Timo Reiter. We saw that firsthand. Now we'll have to see whether that cost him any time. He's still following Dave Sitzker rather closely, losing a bit of time on breaking into Forest Elbow. Let's take a look how the exit goes. Timo Reiter needs a good exit here. He usually has a good exit with the Audi being an all-wheel drive car, but it does not seem like he's significantly or at all catching Dave Sitzker. The delta between the battle is slightly going down, but it's not going to be enough for any move happening at this moment in time. Timo Reiter will need to be a bit closer on the exit onto the straight. What happened there to Dave Sitzker? Taking a bit too much of the inside curb there, it seems. Losing the position to Timo Reiter, but also to Dirk Moltz in the Honda, in the golden Honda, now ahead of the Czech BMW driver. And it seems that Marian Satsara saw that all going on as well and is looking to pounce maybe up the next straight or as soon as possible. In any case, but we'll have to see whether Dave Sitzker even gives the possibility. Sam Morris in the meantime has caught back up to Gordon Kreminski. Is getting closer up the hill. He should have a bit better traction, and he should be able to catch up to the Alpha driver. The question is whether the additional weight of the all-wheel drive will bog the car down, or whether the traction will actually be better. It seems so far that Sam Morris has the battle lines through the mountain section and is following the Alpha closely, getting ever closer. The last lap as well for Sam Morris was 0.3 quicker than for Gordon Kreminski. Now let's take a look as we start the descent. And oh boy, so cutting it ever so close to the walls. But it seems that Gordon Kreminski has the advantage on the descent, gaining out quite a lot of tenths on Sam Morris. And that means that Sam Morris is no longer within the slipstream range and will not be able to go for a move at the end of the straight here. Dave Sitzker trying to recover from the earlier mistake that we saw on the television. Let's take a look if he's able to catch up here sufficiently to Dirk Moltz. It does also seems like there's too far of a distance between the two. The Honda is not known as the car with the biggest straight line speed, but still it's not enough for the BMW to catch up enough to go for a move on the inside. Dirk Mols though losing the apex there a little bit, which allows Dave Sitzka to be very close now. Is it close enough for a move? Not at this moment, but Maltz will have to think about driving defensively now in order to not let Dave Sitzka pass. Marian Satsara is also closing in on this two-way battle, so Dave Sitzka will have to think about making the move as quickly as possible. Oh, Satsara going a bit wide there on exit. It is not enough, though, to make him spin out. Luckily, he is still in this battle, but Dave Sitzka will want to make the move right here on the end of the mountain straight, I think. Or the Conrad straight, one of the two. But Dave Sitzka onto the inside, very safe overtake, and Dirk Mols is now within the clutches of Marian Satsara. Oh, Marian trying to go for the outside, not working here. That is a punt into the wall. It is very dangerous to go side by side, going up the mountain or down the mountain. But this was a try and it did not work out. Maybe Marian Satsara now knows better as to try and do that. Back to the front, Riccardo Rebello is catching up to Sven Mackenberg, who is in the lead. Sebastiano Rossi as well catching up to the two. So the front is now each within 1.5 seconds, or actually within 1.3 seconds. The front is getting very close. It seems that Sven Mackenberg might be losing a bit of pace here in the late stages of the race compared to Riccardo Rebello and Sebastiano Rossi. On the straight though, the Volvo is stretching its legs quite comfortably. The Renault Laguna not able to catch up on the straight, as well as the Alfa in third position, losing quite a lot of pace on the long Conrad straight. Riccardo Rebello now is in P2, is getting closer, is edging closer through the corners onto the Volvo of Sven Mackenberg, the championship leader. Riccardo Rebello needs to make an overtake stick here if he wants to catch up to the P1 position. Riccardo Rebello obviously in P2 for the championship standings at the moment. Sven Mackenberg stretching his legs though still. It does not seem like the slipstream is enough to make any significant move here for Riccardo Rebello. The Volvo 850 is just way too quick in a straight line. And as we learned a couple of rounds ago, these cars do not have any adjustable aero. So it's not like there's any setup changes that can be done to make the car significantly quicker in a straight line. You can of course change the gearing, you can change the toe on the tires to decrease the tire resistance, but it seems to be not enough at this stage for Riccardo Rebello to catch up. The mountain section is where he has to catch up in order to, on the exit of Forest Elbow, be close enough to get any significant amount of slipstream, it seems. Going down the mountain now, pushing every last centimeter of the circuit. Riccardo Rebello is trying to push the Renault to the limit. The Laguna is now all the way on the rear of the Volvo through Forest Elbow. It seems that worked. The exit though was better with Sven Mackenberg. Will the slipstream cut in though? It has now, and now we have the Laguna catching back up to the Volvo. We'll have to see, will this be close enough for the next corner, for the next left-hander? Defensive line taken by Sven Mackenberg. So Riccardo Rebello is able to potentially get a bit closer here on the exit, and he's got the better exit. Yes, that is Riccardo Rebello catching up to Sven Mackenberg in the front and able to, Sven Mackenberg having to take the defensive line once again. He does not want to give up this position at all, and he will not do it very easily, or easily at all. Riccardo Rebello easing off the gas here. Let's hope that that is not a fuel-preserving behavior that he has to preserve fuel in this situation. It was just a safety precaution as to not rear-end the leader at this stage in the race. But yeah, this seems to be a battle that will last another 2 laps that we have on this circuit. Marian Satsara trying to catch up to Dirk Moltz at this stage of the race, not able to do so effectively. And it seems that the battle that we saw earlier, Sam Morris has lost Kordian Kreminski, who is now in a rather safe P5. Of course, if we're talking about Bathurst, there's not much safety we can talk about. Another driver who has gotten to find that out was Jordan Brunch, who is currently in P14, the Tractor.eu staff member, fellow broadcaster, ditched on the commentary duties to race these awesome cars here. Let's go back to the front as we see Riccardo Rebello in the slipstream of Sven Mackenberg. Who has the better exit now? It seems that Mackenberg has the better acceleration onto the Conrad Straight. But now it's the turn. Not quite yet. It seems that, yeah, the Volvo is just too far ahead for any significant slipstream to work out here. It seems that Riccardo Rebello has to be within 3/10 on the exit of Forest Selbo to make any significant moves. But look at this. What was that line taken by Riccardo Rebello? That was a beautifully quick compared to what Sven Mackenberg did, and he gave him a little bit of a push. Riccardo Rebello now all the way on the rear again of Sven Mackenberg. Now do not go for the safety line into T1 if you want to make an overtake. This is the last lap now. The last lap has just been started. Riccardo Rebello directly on the rear of Sven Mackenberg. The Renault Laguna is challenging the Volvo 850. The 850 is a challenging car to drive, but if you can make it work, it's gonna be a successful car. And look at what Sven Mackenberg has been doing here. Has to take the defensive line though in this moment. Riccardo Rebello taking a better line, potentially with a better exit. And there's one more overtaking opportunity before we get to the single file mountain section. It doesn't seem to be close enough at this moment. Riccardo Rebello, all he can do at this moment now is try to stick as closely as possible to Sven Mackenberg through the mountain section and try to either make him make a mistake or just to stick to him and for the next straight then to have the opportunity. But it seems that Sven Mackenberg already is stretching his legs quite a bit. There is now a car width length between the two as we approach the decline down the hill. Riccardo Rebello losing a bit of time once again. We have seen this time and time again. Sven Mackenberg with the better line down the hill. It seems Riccardo Rebello catching now though. We come into Forest Selbo. Who has the better braking, the better line, the better exit? Riccardo Rebello is so close to Sven Mackenberg. Just 1.5 tenths. This is the best opportunity that Riccardo Rebello has had all of this race in order to try and go for an overtake on Sven Mackenberg. The German has to go defensive now. There's also battle for P3 right behind Marvin Mackenberg and Sebastian Rossi right beside Rebello and Mackenberg as well, side by side. Rebello having the inside for the next left-hander. Let's take a look. Who outbreaks the other? Is it the Renault Laguna? It is the Renault Laguna now in the lead. It is Riccardo Rebello having taken the position. What can he do into the next left-hander? There's one more opportunity. Defensive line, a bit of swerving by Riccardo Rebello. Sven Mackenberg not able to get back onto the Portuguese driver. It is Riccardo Rebello winning the first race at Bathurst ahead of Sven Mackenberg. Marvin Mackenberg making the third position on the podium, just ahead of Sebastiano Rossi. Kordian Kreminski getting into P5 ahead of Sam Morris. And we see Dave Sitzka still being challenged here. Is that going to be Timo Reiter going for an overtake? He's not close enough. It is going to be Dave Sitzka in P7. Timo Reiter in P8, and Dirk Moltz is being challenged as well here still. But there's not going to be enough. Dirk Moltz in P9, Marian Satsara in P10. Oh, That what a finish that was by the leaders, as we see Andreas Everts coming around the final corner to finish the race in P11. What a battle towards the final minutes of the race. Dean Clark finishing in P12 now. Imantric Saints coming around the final corner. Not the lead Opel driver, right, but the most prominent Opel driver here at tracc.lu, P13. And Jordan Brunch is still here in the final sector of the race. Wow. And that is the battles, the type of battles that you can see on Bathurst. And there's the type of battles that you will see when you have as evenly matched cars as these, as evenly matched drivers as these. The championship standings might tell a different story, but Ricardo Rebello and Sven Markenberg are both very close to one another when it comes to pace. The best lap in the race, actually driven by Sebastiano Rossi, who only came in P4, has had a good stint in the middle of the race. Unfortunately, unable to, in the end, do anything about that pace. So now, we're warming up for the second race of the day. We have another 20-minute race starting in just 2 minutes. Ricardo Rebello will now look to defend that win, because that was 5 points that he effectively gained on Sven Markenberg, getting closer in the championship standings and being able to close the gap just that little bit. 25 points go to the victor, 20 points to P2, 16 points to P3, 13 points to P4, 11 points to P5, and then it's 10, 9, 8, all the way down to P15. And P16 plus do not get any points today with the drivers that we have here. It doesn't seem to be... Do we actually have? We had 16 drivers come across the finish line, I think. That's just unfortunate in that case. But also a bit of redemption will probably be hoped for. Oh no. Oh, it seems that the driver that unfortunately got a stop-go 30 earlier is no longer in the session, so will not try to go for a comeback here in the second race. We'll have to see. We have 15 drivers in that case starting the race. Everyone will get points. It's just about where you finish. We have a big spread of skill, but there are a few clusters. As we saw in the first race at the top, for example, we have a beautiful cluster of 4 cars, which, depending on what sort of a day they're having, all of them could win the race. Warm-up session now over. 60 more seconds for the drivers to start their formation. Any last setup changes are possible to be done right now. And if you want to join the racing yourself, you can do so by scanning that QR code or going to tracc.eu/Discord. You'll find out all that you need to know about how to join our races on our Discord server. We're a friendly community open to everyone. So if you want to race in RaceRoom, in ACC, in LMU actually at the moment as well, feel free to join us. But for now, we'll have to take a look at the second race. And what are we going to see? we're going to see a good start from the head of the grid by Riccardo Rebello. Riccardo Rebello in P1 right now, comfortably ahead of Sven Muckenberg. Right behind that we see Marvin Muckenberg in P3 now, ahead of Sebastiano Rossi, keeping the position, but they are getting close to the lead as well. Sven Muckenberg having the straight line speed on the outside though for the next corner, ahead of Riccardo Rebello. And it seems that the top 5 cars are setting themselves apart from the rest of the grid. Sam Morris there in 5th position as well with the top right now. Oh, it seems that Marvin Muckenberg is now side by side and got a bit of help from behind by Sebastiano Rossi, and is now in P2. And Sebastiano Rossi on the outside of Sven Muckenberg has gained the position as well. That is going to be the top 5 people all mixed up once again. Sven Muckenberg losing 2 positions here at the start. And Sam Morris as well in the clutches of it, followed by Kodin Kreminski as well. Kreminski wanting to get back up to pace as well. Being caught up by behind Sam Morris just a tiny bit here. It seems on the decline and the descent down the hill. Sam Morris. Oh, that's an unsettled line, and Kodin Kreminski able to take advantage of that without any problem. Kodin Kreminski now in P5, but tapping the wall there just a tiny bit, but he is on the rear of Sven Muckenberg. He's going to get the slipstream and is going to be able to catch up to the top. But it seems that Riccardo Rebello is stretching his legs at the front of the grid at the moment. Dean Clark in the meantime is very close to Andreas Ebert actually, and Ebert having to defend here, but he's not able to. Dean Clark going to the outside actually for the next real corner. No, having to swap back in behind. Jiří Kratochvíl is starting after all here. Oh, so it seems that Jiří Kratochvíl is trying to go for a redemption race here, and is in P8 now, having made up quite a lot of positions, half past the grid already. What we've seen in the past from him is that he's a defensive monster. He is one of the best defenders we have ever seen here in KCG TTM, and he stays ahead of Timo Reiter here. Dirk Moltz also moving past. It seems that we've lost Ironmetric Saints between the races. Other than that, the drivers are virtually the same. Jiří Kratochvíl still ahead of Dirk Moltz here, but there's a battle right behind that with Timo Reiter, Merian Satsara. Oh, it seems that Reiter might have gotten a slowdown, or was at least slow on exit, as Merian Satsara able to move past. And in the front we have Sebastiano Rossi closing in on Marvin Muckenberg for the top 3. It seems that those 3 are separating themselves from Sven Muckenberg at this stage of the race. Now that is not good for his championship aspirations, because in P4 that means that 12 points is what Riccardo Rebello can make up on the leader of the championships right now. This would be a beautiful result for Riccardo Rebello if it kept on like this, and horrible for Sven Muckenberg, but we'll have to see. Oh, Sebastiano Rossi sliding it down the hill there, sliding his Alpha down the hill. Have to be careful as to not crash into your competitors or the walls. That is a quick race ender, and it can easily happen. Timo Reiter a bit behind is right on the rear of Merian Satsara. Is this close enough though to go for a move? This is close enough to go for a move. We have Dean Clark right next to Jordan Brunch and Andreas Ebert. Oh, let's take a look what Dean Clark can do. Can he make the move big this time? Oh, he's going for the outside again. This time it does not work either, but John Brunch is now as well in the mix for this battle. Back to the front there, we have side by side now. It seems that Sven Muckenberg has caught up and is taking 2 in 1. Well, that is a meal deal if I've ever heard of one. 2 in 1 in one corner. What? That's a beautiful move on the inside by Sven Muckenberg, and the straight line speed of the Volvo just allows him to get ahead without any problem. Oh wow, that is Sven Markenberg now back into P2. Right behind them we have Marvin Markenberg being still closely followed and even pushed here by Sebastiano Rossi right behind. Oh, take a look at how close do you want it. This is as close as it gets. They are literally pushing each other up the mountain. Oh, Sebastiano Rossi hitting the wall there, it seems. As we go up the mountain, Riccardo Rebello might have a bit of a stress now, because he knows now is Sven Markenberg right behind him. Oh, that's Marvin in the wall, and that allows Sebastiano Rossi to catch up, to overtake even, and Sebastiano Rossi is now directly on the rear of Sven Markenberg, wanting to get the position back. He feels hard done by, of course, getting overtaken as we have seen Sven Markenberg do it. It does feel dirty. It was a completely clean move, but it did feel like he'd been hard done by. Sebastiano Rossi is very close, though, to the Volvo. It's got to be close enough to go for a move at the end of the straight right now. Look at how much he's closing in. But Sven Markenberg stays on the left-hand side. Does not want to give Sebastiano Rossi the inside for the next left-hander after this kink. And it seems that Sebastiano Rossi does not even try to go for it at this stage. Marvin Markenberg right behind that, able to stay in the tow and able to stay in the battle for P2, as it seems to be right here. Marvin Markenberg swerving out, not close enough for a move. Of course, if Sebastiano Rossi manages to make a move here, as Riccardo Rebello has posted as a new fastest lap with a 2:14.990. Well, Sebastiano Rossi is the only one who can basically decide Rebello's race for him right now. If he continues to battle Sven Markenberg, tries to take the position away from him, obviously that is going to help Riccardo Rebello, as look how much they're closing in up the mountain straight. That is, wow, wonderful straight line speed by the Volvo compared to the Renault. Rossi going very wide once again on the entry to that corner. This time not hitting the wall, it seems. Marvin Markenberg wanted to make it side by side, though, up the mountain. Oh, that is a dangerous move there. Dangerous thoughts. Sometimes you feel like you have to go for the gap as a racing driver, but sometimes you just have to think better of it. Marvin Markenberg did think better of it in this situation here. Rossi, though, directly on the rear still, and down the hill we go. Who has the battle line down the hill? Markenberg getting a bit wide there, a bit squirrely, and Rossi is now able to stay on the rear directly. Look at how close he is onto breaking into Forest Elbow, and down the hill we go onto the Conroe Straight. Now, how close is Rossi? Within 3/10. Now, that was what I suggested earlier would have to be the case in order to go for a move, but it does seem to be a bit too much distance between the two cars at this stage. He is closing in, but is he closing in enough? He's not going. Is he going for a move? He's not going for a move. Just thought against it at the last second. As Dave Sitzka as well, right next to Dirk Moltz here. Is Dave Sitzka on the outside, actually the inside for the next corner. That is going to be a move made by the BMW driver up ahead of Dirk Moltz. That's now the two checks in P7 and 8 after that. And Andreas Ebert right behind that is also closing in on Dean Clark. Not able to go for a move right at this second. As we also see that Riccardo Rebello has posted a new fastest lap once again. 2:14.875. Two fastest laps in succession by the Portuguese driver. He's really trying to get away now from the Volvo of Sven Markenberg. Look at this. Up the mountain straight though, gaining a bit of time, not enough to get for a move, as we have almost half the race over now. Of course, it's a 20-minute race, very short sprint race format, especially for a large circuit as this. Sebastiano Rossi now being challenged by Marvin Markenberg. Look at this, how close the Honda driver is again to the Italian. Rossi unable to stick to the rear of Sven Mackenberg right now as both of them seemingly hit the wall there in synchronized mistakes. And that has helped Sebastiano Rossi to get a bit of a safety distance, a bit of a buffer to Marvin Mackenberg. Mackenberg, of course, will want to overtake Rossi. I mean, overtaking in any case is what you want to do. Look, oh, how sideways was Rossi there, braking into Forest Elbow. I mean, we saw something similar last lap around as he was very close to Sven Mackenberg. But this time, once again, that was a bit of a sketchy entry, dare I say, into Forest Elbow. Marvin Mackenberg getting close though, and having to go for the outside line. But he made the move stick through the right-hander. Yes, he is ahead. Marvin Mackenberg now in P3, right ahead of Sebastiano Rossi. That is a position gained for the German, and the Mackenbergs are again both on the podium. But Rossi is not gonna let that sit idly. He will try to take back the position, but will he be able to? Corin Kreminski right behind that is seeing all that unfurling, trying to catch up to this battle, but is also slightly gapping, continuously gapping Sam Morris here, who is unfortunately not on the pace for the lead battle, but good top midfield position anyway. Sebastiano Rossi getting close to Marvin Mackenberg. Will it be close enough to make for a move? He's trying to go for the inside. He's braking later, and he's going for the move. He's making it stick as well. So that now means that he's ahead once again. This really helps Sven Mackenberg, though, who does not have to contend with any challenge from behind at this stage. He can just focus on driving his own race and catching up to Riccardo Rebello. And the gap has shrunk. A lap ago it was a second, now it's just 0.6 between Sven Mackenberg and Riccardo Rebello. The gap, however, between Rossi and Mackenberg is not opening up significantly. Marvin Mackenberg here, will want to take back the P3 from our top alpha driver at this stage of the race. Is he close enough to go for a move? Marvin Mackenberg, 0.3 behind. Now that is not close enough on the Volvo, but is it close enough on the Alpha? Further back, we have G-Fox Foxington being close to Jordan Brunch here. The battle for P13. But Marvin Mackenberg now is trying to go for a move. He's side by side with Sebastiano Rossi, this time on the inside for this left-hander. Sebastiano Rossi keeps it side by side and is able to take back the position. Will Marvin be able to make a move, break later here perhaps? It does not seem like it, so Rossi has taken back the position, and Rossi is, after all, still in P3. G-Fox unable to catch up, as we see Sven Mackenberg being very close to the lead and having set the new fastest lap with a 2:14.719. That is the purple lap now by almost 0.2 ahead of Riccardo Rebello, and look at how close he already is. And right behind, they're still side by side, again side by side. Marvin Mackenberg trying to make a move on the outside. Oh, that is not gonna fly, and that is a wall. And that invites Corin Kreminski to come into the battle here for P4. Corin Kreminski, that is what he's been waiting for. A mistake by the drivers up ahead to try and go for a move, to try and get the slipstream at least. We'll have to see on the Conrad straight whether he will get there or not. Sven Mackenberg again is very close to Ricardo Rebello in the front, but also we've side-by-side battling now between Jordan Brunch and G-Fox Foxington. And it seems that we have G-Fox on the inside for this next corner. That is going to be a move made by the Opel driver, but very good pace held on the outside line by the Renault of Jordan Brunch, and it seems that Jordan Brunch is able to keep the position ahead of G-Fox. Yes, he is. Back to the front, we see that Gordon Kreminski is now on the rear of Marvin Mackenberg, who has gotten a slowdown penalty, and Sebastiano Rossi hit the wall here on the outside of Forest Elbow. Coming onto the Conrad Straight, we'll have to take a look. Marvin Mackenberg is now side by side once again with Sebastiano Rossi, but Gordon Kreminski is in the slipstream range and is catching. This is going to be a three-way battle now for P3. Marvin Mackenberg in the best position. Gordon Kreminski, though, very close to Sebastiano Rossi. Rossi is sandwiched between two very feisty opponents and will have to defend as well now. Oh, this is a dangerous position to be in. He goes for the overtake. He goes for the move on Marvin Mackenberg. What a late move, but it worked out, it seems. According to Kreminski also being able to go through on that. That is what a move. Marvin Mackenberg trying to immediately retaliate, unable to do so. It goes wide. That is Marvin Mackenberg, and Mackenberg has reset to the pits, promoting Sam Morris into P5 on merit. Gordon Kreminski now still battling with Sebastiano Rossi for P3. Sven Mackenberg getting close to Ricardo Rebello for the lead. And we have a few more battles down the field as well between G-Fox Foxington and Jordan Brunch and Andreas Ebert and Dean Clark. But Gordon Kreminski is the closest to an overtake at this stage. Ah, look at how unsettled both of these alphas go into the corner. As we see G-Fox Foxington on the inside here of Jordan Brunch trying to go for a move once again. But the outside line is with Jordan Brunch defending the position. Andreas Ebert here as well, trying to catch up, and he is closing in on the straight, but not close enough to go for a move. Back with the Opel of G-Fox Foxington. He is closing in once again, trying to go for a move on the inside once again. Oh, and there's a contact between the two. That is Jordan Brunch and G-Fox Foxington having a heavy contact there. And Jordan Brunch stays ahead. Back to the front, we are coming onto the Conrad Straight out of Forest Elbow here. Gordon Kreminski very close to Sebastiano Rossi, while Ricardo Rebello has gotten a bit more of a gap. But Kreminski, oh, he's trying to go for it. He's trying to go for it. He wants to go to the left, to the inside for the next right-hander, but will the overspeed be enough? He is ahead, and comfortably so it seems. The braking is as well on point, still side by side though. Rossi able to get the better exit, able to defend the position. Rossi still in P3 after all. Now, we see iMentrix Saints here in the rear catching up to G-Fox Foxington and Jordan Brunch. Oh, there's a bit of contact there for iMentrix going into the wall. But back to the front, recording Kreminski. Oh, this is the best position. This is the best position he can hope for. Now, up the hill. How much will it play into, as right ahead we see Ricardo Rebello going defensive ahead of Sven Mackenberg. Nothing happening here, but Gordon Kreminski and Rossi, the two are shoulder to shoulder on the straight coming into turn 2 here, and it seems that Kreminski has the inside line. They're still side by side. No, Rossi is now ahead, and Rossi has retained the position in P3. Sven Mackenberg in the lead here as we are on the last lap, I think. Very close to Ricardo Rebello. Will it be enough to make a move towards the end here, as Dave Sitzka had a bit of a coming together with the wall there, it seems. We'll have to see whether Sven Mackenberg will be close enough to go for a move onto the Conrad Straight. Down the hill we go once again. This is where Sven Mackenberg has struggled in the past. We have seen him struggle. This time it was quite alright. But how is the exit out of Forest Elbow? It is with Riccardo Rebello. The straight line speed, though, is with the Volvo. Will it be close enough? Will it be close enough? It does not seem close enough. It does not seem close enough. It does not seem close enough. Sven Markenberg, no, he's just not catching enough at this stage. He is closing in, but will it be enough? There's one more opportunity, basically. He would have needed a better exit coming onto this short little straight before the last corner. And it seems that Riccardo Rebello has been able to do it once again. The win for the second race goes to Riccardo Rebello, right ahead of Sven Muckenberg, who finishes in P2. Sebastiano Rossi finishes in P3 ahead of Gordon Kreminski. And Sam Morris having to defend from Jiří Kratochvil here in P5, Kratochvil in P6. There's still a bit of a battle here, it seems. No, Dave Sitzka in the safe P7 ahead of Dirk Moltz, who is coming into P8 here, it seems. Marian Satsara finishing in P9. Dean Clark in a very solemn P10. There's still a battle going on here, it seems. G. Fox Foxington very close to Jordan Brunch. Trying to go for a move once again. Late on the brakes. The two come together once again. This is touring car racing, though. And it seems that Jordan Brunch has got it now. He's got the defense. Just one more corner left to go, and it's not close enough for G. Fox Foxington. Though Andreas Ebert has finished in P11. Jordan Brunch in P12. G. Fox Foxington in P13, Aymantrick Zanes in P14, Marvin Mackenberg, Joe Senna and Timo Reiter all DNF'd. But the win for the second race today goes to Riccardo Rebello, and those are 10 points that he has now caught up to the lead of the championship. If we go back real quick, that would mean that he is now not 36 points behind, but only 26 points. And with 3 more rounds left to go, that puts him in a beautiful position for the next round, which will happen in 2 weeks, where we will be going to Macau for the Macau T-Prix. Feel free to come back in 2 weeks to witness Macau, which will be of a similar caliber, I dare say, as the Bathurst race today. 2 weeks, same time. Also, feel free to join our Discord once again if you want to join our racing, or just talk to us or our drivers here. Congratulate Riccardo Rebello on these 2 wins. Beautifully done. In any case, thank you all so much for watching. This has been the Tractor.eu Touring Masters with KCG Racing League at Bathurst. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the racetrack.